history, July. I was born in July 1994. A couple things that happened in July. U.S. postage stamps went on sale for the very first time. Taxes were withheld from paychecks. Zip codes went into use. President Garfield was shot. The Lawrence Welk Show premiered on TV. The first cultivated strawberry was displayed by Michael Kent. After being displayed for over a century, the torch on the Statue of Liberty was removed so that it could be replaced. Baseball, great Joe D'Amico hits his first Grand Slam. The bikini makes its debut at the Paris Fashion Show. In the very first All-Star baseball game, the American League wins 5-2. The United States annexed Hawaii. The U.S. Department issued the very first passport. Dick Clark hosted American Bandstand for the very first time. After a very unsuccessful attempt to change its formula, Coca-Cola brings back the ever-popular original formula as Classic Coke. Former Vice President Aaron Burr killed Secretary of Treasury Alexander Hamilton in a duel. Etch-a-Sketch goes on sale. The radio was patented. Alfred Nobel demonstrates how dynamite works. Liquid rocket fuel was patented. Rubber is patented by Goodyear. Margarine is patented. John F. Kennedy Jr. dies in a plane crash off Martha's Vineyard. The Harvard School of Dentistry became the very first dental school in the United States. The air conditioner was invented. Walt Disneyland opened in California. Adolf Hitler published his novel. Samuel Colt invented the revolver. Winston Churchill used the two-finger V for the victory sign. Neil Armstrong became the very first person to walk on the moon. Jesse James and his gang robbed their very first train. Bank robbers John Dillon was shot dead. An act of Congress restored Civil War Confederation Gerald Robert E. Lee citizenship. Air Force Colonel Eileen M. Collins became the very first woman to command a space shuttle. Benjamin Franklin became the very first Postmaster General. Mickey Mantle hits his very first Grand Slam. And World War I began. Major events that happened in the year 1994. South Africa held its very first multiracial elections and adopted a new flag. Nelson Mandela was elected president of South Africa. The North American Free Trade Agreement came into effect. The web browser Netscape is released. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman are murdered. O.J. Simpson is later acquitted of their murder in a criminal trial, but then held liable in a civil lawsuit. The Church of England obtains its very first female priest. UK introduces the National Lottery. A few TV shows that came out in the year 1994 are the My So-Called Life. It was a short-lived teen drama that was only 19 episodes, but Claire Danes was one of launched the actress's career. Party of Five, it was about a family who lost their parents in a tragic accident. It starred Jennifer Love Hewitt, Neil Campbell, and Matthew Fox. Chicago Hope, found Touched by an Angel. ER, and the Friends sitcom was all in the 1994. A few movies that came out in 1994 was Forrest Gump, that starred Tom Hanks, Speed with Keanu Reeves, The Flintstones, The Lion King, Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels, and Lauren Holly, True Lies, The Mask, starring Jim Carrey, and Interview with the Vampire. A couple of the songs that were popular in 1994 were Closer by Nine Inch Nails, Crazy by Aerosmith, I Alone by Live, Sure Shot by the Beastie Boys, The Sign by Ace of Base, Secret by Madonna, About a Girl by Nirvana, Basket Case by Green Day, All I Want to Do by Sheryl Crow, Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. And some history that took place in 1994, American and Russian nuclear missiles are for the very first time no longer pointed at each other. A massive earthquake measuring 6.7 on the Richter scale shakes up Southern California and kills 61 people before dawn. The Rwandan genocide begins in Africa. Close to 1 million people are slaughtered. The biggest spying trial of the decade begins with CIA employee Eldridge Ames being arrested and charged on behalf of the former Soviet Union. A couple other things that happened in 1994. Green Day released an album, and O.J. Simpson. Close to 50 members of the Order of the Solar Temple, a religious cult, are found dead in their own hand in Switzerland and Canada. And former U.S. President Ronald Reagan goes public with the fact that he has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So these were all the things that happened in the month July in the year 1994.